In this video, I'm going to show you how to take this size large men's shirt and turn it into a super simple to sew woman's crop top using these as my inspiration. This video is for complete beginners, so I'm going to go over every step in granular detail, including basic skills and terminology. So if you're confused by terms like seam allowance, this video is for you. For reference, the shirt I used is a men's size large, and I wear a woman's size medium or small. So let's get started. Try on the shirt and mark where you want to crop it. You can use whatever you have on hand, like a washable marker, a scrap of soap, or a sewing pin, which is what I used. Lay the shirt out on a flat surface, then add seam allowance. Seam allowance is the extra material you'll need for the seam. If I cut the shirt here and I sew the hem here, it will make the garment shorter than I intended. So to compensate for that, I need to add extra fabric. This is called seam allowance. I'm going to use a small hem, so I'm going to give myself around 3/4 of an inch for seam allowance and mark it on the shirt. Next, I'll draw a line perpendicular to the button placket so it's nice and straight. The button plackets are the parts of the shirt with the buttons and the buttonholes. To mark fabrics, I generally use a scrap of soap or washable markers, but you can use whatever works for you as long as it washes out. Make sure the shirt is nice and flat, then cut from one side of the shirt to the other. Actually, you don't have to do any sewing to make a cropped shirt. On this version, they left the edges raw, so if you like this look, you can skip the sewing. But if you want to hem your shirt, keep watching. I generally try to match the thread color of the original shirt using a high-quality polyester all-purpose thread. My thread isn't the exact same color, but I think it's close enough. On the machine, I set the stitch setting to straight with a length between 2.5 and 3 millimeters, and set the thread tension to around 4, but the tension might be different on your machine. It never hurts to do a test on your fabric to see what settings work best, but it does take a little extra time. As you can see, the thread actually matches pretty well. Here's the original seam, and here's mine. This is the shirt's original hem. My hem isn't going to be as tiny as this one, but it's going to be along the same lines. The fastest way to sew a small hem is to roll the hem as you sew at the machine, but it takes a little more skill to do neatly. I'm using a piece of scrap fabric here to demonstrate. Fold the edge up 1/4 of an inch or so, then fold it over again and place it under the foot. As you sew, continue rolling and tucking the edge under while sewing as close to the fold as possible. Here you can see the original hem on the left and the rolled hem on the right. Another way is to iron the hem first, which is a little more time consuming, but the result is generally neater and more professional looking, especially for beginners, so that's the method I'm going to use. On the wrong side of the fabric, turn up the raw edge 1/4 inch or so starting at the button placket. You can use a guide to keep the fold size consistent, but it isn't necessary. Iron the fold in place all the way around the shirt to the second placket. And give it a good press. Turn the folded edge up again so that the raw edge of the fabric is tucked into the fold and iron it again. Continue all the way around the shirt from one placket to the other, making sure that the ends of the plackets are nice and neat. Then pin the hem in place. If you iron your hem really well, you may not need to pin it, but it does help hold it in place. Ideally, you want to place your pins so you can easily remove them as you sew, so keep in mind that the bulk of the fabric should be on the left side when you pin. Some people place pins perpendicular to the seam, others use them to hold the seams down, so you can experiment what works best for you. For me, it depends on the situation. Next, we're going to sew a row of stitches as close to the fold as possible. Start on the button placket and position the foot close to the fold. This can be a little tricky because there isn't a guideline on the foot, so what I do is line up the fold of the fabric with the angle of the foot. If you're having trouble sewing close to the fold, another option is to use a zipper or a straight stitch foot because it's easier to see what you're doing. So it depends on what equipment you happen to have, but it might be worth experimenting to see what works best for you. Sometimes it can be difficult to get a seam started, especially when the fabric is bulky, like on a button placket. So there are a couple things you can do to help the fabric along. You can tug the threads in the back, or you can use a tool like a pair of nail scissors to flatten the fabric and gently guide it, which is what I usually do. Once you get the seam started, sew 4 or 5 stitches, then back tack. Back tacking is when you sew over a seam in order to keep it from unraveling. The way to back tack is to reverse the machine and sew 3 or 4 stitches backward, staying directly on the original seam if you can, and then continue forward. Once you get past the placket, it gets easier to guide the fabric. Sewing is like driving a car. It's a combination of controlling the speed with your foot and guiding the direction with your hands. Sewing straight lines is like driving down the highway, a great way to practice your skills and get used to the feel of the machine. There are lots of things I've learned from sewing, including how to focus and be present. When my mind wanders, so do my stitches. I've also learned that mistakes happen when I'm hungry or tired, so it's a good idea to take a break. It's better to take a break than having to undo everything you just did. When you get to the end, back tack to secure the stitches. So what happens if you make a mistake? What if you sew off the fold of the hem? First, you need to open the section of the seam where the mistake is. There are many ways to open a seam, and here are some that I use. The fastest way is to use a seam ripper with the ball under the seam, but it's also the most dangerous. The fabric used for men's shirts can be very delicate, and a seam ripper can slice right through it. So if you use that method, be careful. A safer method is to cut every 5 to 6 stitches on one side, then cut and pull the thread on the other. Another safe method is pull the 2 sides of the fabric apart to expose and snip the threads. I usually try a variety of techniques to see what works best in the situation. To resew the seam, start on the seam, back tack, then resew the section you just unpicked, then join the original seam again on the other side and back tack again. You can see how having a thread color which matches the shirt helps the back tacked section blend in. Okay, now your hem is done. Here's what the shirt looks like at this point. You may want to stop here. Congratulations, you did it. But if you want to crop the sleeves as well, then keep watching. Try on the shirt and mark the sleeve length. I want the sleeve to be slightly shorter than the hem, so I put a pin here. Add 3/4 inch seam allowance. Then draw the cut line perpendicular to the fold of the sleeve. Fold the shirt in half, carefully line up the shoulder seams, and make sure the cut line is nice and flat. Then cut across the sleeve. Turn the shirt inside out and turn up the raw edge of the sleeve 1/4 inch or so. Iron the fold in place all the way around the sleeve. Turn the folded edge up again so that the raw edge of the fabric is tucked into the fold, and iron it again. Pin the hem in place. Sewing a circular seam is a little different because you only need to back tack once. So start near the underarm seam and sew close to the fold as with the main hem. Continue all the way around the sleeve, and when you get back to the original seam, back tack on top of it to secure both seams. The reason I start near the underarm seam is to hide the back tacking. Okay, so that's it, we're done. And here's the result. When I was learning to sew, I produced some pretty wonky looking garments, which I never wore. And one of the great things about refashioning is that you can make professional looking clothes with very basic sewing skills. Keeping the difficult to sew parts of a shirt, like the button plackets and collars, will give your refashioned shirt a polished look while being customized to fit you and your style. So I hope this inspires you to try your own refashioning project. Thanks for watching, and happy upcycling!